From the looks of things, the Stoner LMG is getting increasingly popular inside Warzone at the moment, but what we want to know is how does it stack up against the current best LMGs inside Warzone? So in this video, we're going to be comparing the Stoner LMG to the BRUEN MK9 to find out which one is the best. If you enjoy watching weapon breakdowns, weapon comparisons, and any tips and tricks regarding Warzone overall, subscribe to our channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Before we get into the stats quickly, I do want to mention this is some old Stoner gameplay from Plunder. I did have a Battle Royale gameplay saved, but it got corrupted. The first thing I need to show you is the class setups that we use to compare both of these guns. Firstly, the BRUEN. This is the BRUEN class setup that we've all gotten used to. The only difference here is that we're not using that 60 round mags, because it increases recoil way too much. We do use stipple grip tape here, but you could use a tac laser also. Now for the Stoner setup, we're using the Agency Suppressor, the Cavalry Lancer, the Field Agent Grip, the Axial Arms 3x Optic, and the SAS Combat Stock. The Cavalry Lancer is the only barrel that increases the bullet velocity significantly with this gun. Then you do need that Agency Suppressor to increase the bullet velocity even further. And what I would recommend is, if you do want to swap out one of the attachments, swap out that SAS Combat Stock. It will slow down your overall movement speed, but then you could put on a fast mags for a slightly faster reload time. Considering all Cold War weapons still have a bugged reload animation, you can try and use that fast mag attachment to negate that a bit. Looking at the stats now, we have the BRUEN MK9 on the left and the Stoner LMG on the right. Looking at damage profiles, first for the BRUEN, the headshot damage is 46-42, the body shot damage is 31-28. Up close for the BRUEN, if you're landing only headshots, it will be 6 shots to kill. If you're landing only body shots, it will be 9 shots to kill. We can see that the Stoner does do much more damage up close, so if you're looking at the damage profile for the headshot, it's going to be 51-42. Then for the body shot damage, it'll be 37 and then drops off down to 30. The rate of fire for both of these guns are pretty close, but the BRUEN is just slightly faster at 752 rounds per minute. The Stoner has a rate of fire of 719 rounds per minute. What this means for our time to kill values, and both of these time to kill values for each gun are including the 67 millisecond open bolt delay. So if you don't understand what this means, you could pretty much just ignore those brackets and just focus on the green parts. So the time to kill for the BRUEN is 705 milliseconds, which is at any range. Then the Stoner up close has a time to kill of 568 milliseconds, and then it drops off down to 735 milliseconds. In terms of damage drop-off points and where you'll be getting these time to kill values, for the Stoner, you'll get 568 millisecond time to kill between 0 and 40 meters, and then after 40 meters will be 735 milliseconds to kill an enemy. For the BRUEN, like I said, it doesn't matter what range or what attachments you're using, it's still going to be 705 milliseconds at any distance. The base aim down sight time for the BRUEN is 446 milliseconds, which is a bit faster than the Stoner, but once you stack attachments on both of these guns, it actually flips round, and the Stoner has a faster aim down sight time than the BRUEN. The magazine size for the base BRUEN is 100 rounds, the magazine size for the base Stoner is 75 rounds, and the faster reload goes to the BRUEN again if you're just looking at the base weapons, but if you use a fast mag attachment on the Stoner, you can reduce your reload time by about 1 second. Bullet velocity on both of these guns are already pretty good because they're LMGs, but if you stack attachments on both of the guns, the Stoner actually comes out on top, which is quite surprising because Cold War weapons usually have worse bullet velocity than the Modern Warfare counterpart, and most of this is actually down to that Cavalry Lancer that you get on the Stoner. So most of the advantages seem to be going to the Stoner in terms of bullet velocity, reload times if you do use fast mags, and also in terms of aim down sight time. On top of that, up close it does have a faster time to kill than the BRUEN, but something does have to be said about the BRUEN's consistency inside this game. Part of that is down to its time to kill because it doesn't actually change over distance, so if you consistently land your shots with the BRUEN, you know how many bullets it's going to take to kill an enemy, and it's quite easy to judge that because the time to kill doesn't change. In some cases when I was playing with the Stoner, I felt like I should have been killing enemies way quicker than I actually did. Maybe this is due to the damage drop-off point of around 40 meters, because in some cases I felt like I was frying enemies, and then when it got past that 40 meter mark, it felt like it took way too long to kill an enemy. Regardless though, both guns do have a competitive time to kill providing you're landing all of your shots, so let's take a look at the recoil patterns for both of these guns. So first what you'll see is the base recoil chart for both of the guns, and you can see the BRUEN MK9 goes upwards and to the left, and the Stoner goes pretty much vertically upwards, which is very easy to manage. This was done at a 12-meter distance to get a good idea for a mid-range gunfight. On top of that, to keep the shots consistent, we only fired 50 bullets from each gun. Both of these guns do look difficult to manage, but once you get used to them, it's actually pretty straightforward. So how does it look once you stack attachments on these guns? So for the BRUEN, you see that in green again, and the Stoner you can see in blue. And we can see with all of those attachments added, the BRUEN is very easy to manage now because it only goes upwards and to the left, but the Stoner is even easier to manage because it's pretty much a straight line upwards. And a lot of that is thanks to that field agent grip. So even though the recoil is not that high with the Stoner, it does seem to have a lot of visual recoil, and I feel like that's the case for a lot of the Cold War weapons in this game, because it makes the guns seem like they're much more difficult to manage than they actually are. The only thing we haven't tested is overall movement speed, but I do feel like once you add that SAS combat stock on the Stoner, it does move much quicker than the BRUEN. Now I was going to spare you of this, but for some reason if you do want to know what the hipfire is like on both of these guns, then here you go. Both of these guns have terrible hipfire accuracy, and I would never recommend hipfiring with either one of these guns. But in case you do get caught out and you need to hipfire, then this is the kind of charts you'd see. This is without any attachments on either one of the guns, and to be completely honest, adding on attachments doesn't really make a huge difference either. And if it wasn't completely obvious, you're going to have to pair either one of these guns with a close range weapon, whether it's an SMG, a shotgun, or even those Diamatti pistols. Considering how bad the hipfire accuracy is, and also how long it's going to take you to aim down sight, these guns are definitely not viable in close range. Quickly just talking about my overall experience with both of these guns, a lot of people were starting to use the Stoner inside Warzone quite a lot recently, and personally I don't really know why. I don't think it's that great a gun. Now it is a good gun, and considering if they do fix some of the attachments, it could be a great gun, but at the current state I do feel like the BRUEN is a better weapon overall still. I do think the Stoner is in the top 2 or 3 LMGs in the game. I think the BRUEN's up there, the PKM is up there, and then also the Stoner now. I feel like LMGs is going to be a tough category to recommend to anyone. Overall movement is pretty slow and reload times are really slow as well. And Warzone is a pretty fast-paced game. If you haven't already unlocked the BRUEN, I'd maybe recommend you unlock that one first and then try and level up the Stoner. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about both of these guns down in the comments below and which one is your favourite. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like as it helps us get recommended more. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Also, we're making a lot more content over on TikTok as well, so if you don't find time to catch up on videos we make on the channel here, we would love to see you over on TikTok as well, because we do make slightly different content over there, and thank you very much for watching.